binigay ng ating David para present ang Energy 101. So, bago tayo mag-umpisa, nais ko sana magpasalamat sa inyong lahat. Sapagkat kayo, nandito tayo, magsama-sama tayo dahil sa isang adhikain. Ang pangalagaan ang ating environment. And we know that one of the biggest contributor to pollution and to harming our environment is the energy sector. But nobody is talking about this because it's a multi-billion business. Even politicians, the president, the vice presidents, down to the LGUs, kumikita po sila. So, kung makikita po natin na sasabihin nila, we want progress. Progress for the Philippines. We need more power plants. We need hydro power plants. We'll bring it to Benguet. Bakit kaming mga IPs ang kawawa para maging masaya ang NCR? So, we talk about progress, but they don't talk about the society, the community that they destroy while having progress. So, is that really progress, or is it only progress for a few people? You see? Now, the best time to plant trees, to take care of our environment, the best time was 15 years ago. Pero dito na tayo. And that's the reason why I started, by thanking each and every one of you for being here right now. Palakpakan niyo po ang inyong sarili. Sapagkat mangilan-ngilan na po ang may puso, mangilan-ngilan na po ang may dedikasyon para ipaglaban ang ating environment. We started with Kuryente.org and then I shifted to PALE, or Partners for Affordable and Reliable Energy. Basically, we are a consumer group, a non-profit, non-partisan organization that actually calls for transparency and accountability in the energy sector, including environment. Okay? Including the welfare of the environment, the welfare of the community, and of course, hindi naman namin pinagkakait the welfare of the businessmen. What we want is a balance. Kumita ang businessman, magbigay ka rin naman para sa community, magbigay ka rin naman para sa environment. Everybody happy. Because at the end of the day, we are in one ecology. Umiikot lang tayo, lahat tulong-tulong. Now, if we will stop business, sasabihin nila, you are stopping progress. Sinabihan na po ako, sad to say, sinabihan na ako, that when I said, wait, before putting up power plants, can you provide us studies and research, on the impact to its community, on the impact to the mountains, the impact to the rivers, the impact to the fishes, the impact to the farms. And sinabihan ako, Nick, bakit ka pa urong? You are stopping progress. And it's really sad that nobody even believed in me during that time. No politicians was there. Sabi ko, tama yung ginagawa mo. So, mahirap po yung pinaglalaban natin. Kaya muli-muli, hindi po ako magsasawa na magpapasalamat sa inyo. Masaya ako na nakikita na ganito tayo kadami. Palakpakan din po natin ang bayanihan. Bibigyan GPP, Sir Jeff, Sir Rich. Dahil sila ang dahilan kung bakit andito tayo lahat. Ngayon, ako'y naatasan upang pag-usapan ang Energy 101. As consumers, as environmentalists, the best way for us to fight is when we are empowered through information. So please allow me for 30 minutes to give an overview of how the energy sector works. Okay lang po ba yun? Okay. Now, this is PARE, or Partners for Affordable and Reliable Energy. Used to be Kuryente.org. In Kuryente.org, national po kami issue. Now, I am a pure Ibaloy, an Igorot from the province of Benguet. And nung nandito ako, nakikipaglaban ako dito sa Manila regarding the yellow and red alert, joining the hearing in Senate, providing my position papers, arguing with senators, at the same time, my province of Benguet is in turmoil because of the takeover ng NIA sa Beneco. You know? And then sinabihan ako ng mga aking kababayan, sabi nila, ano ginagawa mo sa Manila? You know, we have a problem here, but you're there. You know? So sabi ko, okay, now Pare was born because Pare is now focused on the provinces. Bilang isang IP, gusto kong tulungan ang mga IPs nationwide. I have been conducting research in Zamboanga, I have conducted research in Albay, I have conducted research in Bicol region tungkol sa mga electric cooperatives that are allegedly have corruption, mismanaged funds, have very high cost of electricity, and at the same time dirty power. Yan po. So yan po ang Partners for Affordable and Reliable Energy. We stand for consumer empowerment, policy reforms, accountability in the electric cooperative energy sector. Bakit po electric cooperative? Kasi po, ang electric cooperative yan po ang nasa ating mga IP areas. Kung sa ating probinsya, mangilan-ngilan po ang private. Dito lang po sa NCR na malaki talaga ang Meralco, having 80% of the franchise area. You know? So, yun. Ano ang problema ng ating mga IPs? Kakulangan sa informasyon, awareness, education, and through empowering them, through empowering every electric consumer, we are now making them more informed. We are now helping them to make better decisions. You know? Lobat yata. Yeah. So, I am the Chief Advocate Officer. Sabi na, gandang pakinggan. Opo, Chief Advocate Officer ako ng Pare. Ako rin po ang copywriter, ako rin po ang writer, ako rin po ang janitor, at ako rin po ang security guard. David has been helping me in our campaign in the energy sector, because if we can find electric cooperatives in the energy sector accountable, we can now force them to do their mandate, and their mandate is to contract renewable energy, or RE. Safer for the environment, better for the environment, better for everybody. So what we do, ang ginagawa po namin, tayo po ay nagsusulong ng mga pulisiya, sinasubmit po natin yung ating position papers sa Kongreso at sa Senado at sa ating mga kalyado, mga party list, no? Para po sana, pagpunta sila sa Kongreso, andun na sila sa Senado, sila po ang magsusulong ng ating mga pulisiya. We would like to have more RE in the provinces. Tama? From the last hearing, the Department of Energy, Sharon Garing, Secretary Sharon Garing mentioned that there are a lot of RE stranded power in Mindanao. Yes. Now my question is, you already know that, we already know that, the Senate knows it, the Congress knows it, DOE knows it, TRC knows it. What are they doing about it? And they need us, consumer groups, to remind them. So that's what we do. We also, this is one that's close to my heart, because being an educator myself, I was the program chair in Letran Calamba for 7 years. So being an educator myself, education is very close to my heart. So ito po yung isa sa aking ginagawa, magturo, tungkol sa enerhiya, ano ang pwede niyong gawin, paano basahin ang inyong electric bill, okay? Ano ang mga pwede niyong gawin para pababain ang inyong electric bill. Okay, yan pa. So yan yung mga ginagawa natin. We also hold players accountable, whether these are power generators, our regulators, okay, our Congress, our Senate, or even electric cooperatives. Because we only want one thing, value for value. Consumers are paying and they should be given the best service at the least possible cost. Value for value. Kasi tayo, pag sinabi naman nila, ang electric bill mo ngayon, 7,000, may angal ba tayo? May magagawa ba tayo? Wala. So in the sense, what we do is we find them accountable. Oops, wait ka lang, magbayad ako ng 7,000, di ako nag-question, ayusin yung servisyo mo. So this is what we do. So, marami pong mga instances na ginagawa po nila is they do not conduct the competitive selection process o bidding. Minsan nagkakaroon yan ng usap-usap na lang. So, ganun po napapamahal ng ating kuryente. So, that's only one. Another naman, yung biglang mag-brown out. Alam niyo po ba na kapag ang brownout is being caused by technical, merong pumutok na transformer, may nasira na facility, merong naputol na wire, okay? Merong ahas na pumulupot, merong daga na pumunta, may manok, di ba? May ipot ng ibon. Lahat po yan, pag nagkaroon ng brownout, abay, lahat po ng report at lahat ng repair, nagdagastos po sa atin. It's being passed on to us. Yung system loss, pag sinabi pong system loss, dalawang klase pong system loss. Yung pag-travel ng kuryente mula sa planta, papunta ng linya ng NGCP, the transmission lines, going now to our distribution utilities, and from our distribution utilities, going to our house. Dahil po masyadong mahaba yung linya, nagkakaroon po na system loss. Okay? So ngayon, lahat yun po, technical system loss, binabayaran po natin. Another system loss is, dahil sa haba ng linya, meron tayong mga kapitbahay, nag-jumper na lang sila dahil magaling sila. Dati silang empleyado, kinabit na lang nila diretso mula sa ating poste. It happens. It's one of the problem of Zamboanga, Samselco. Kaya mahal ang presyo. Imagine, Samselco is up there for over 500 million plus. Ngayon, lahat po yung mga nagnanakaw ng kuryente, tayo po na nagbabayad ng kuryente, sa atin po pinapataw yung ninakaw nila. Kaya po sa kanila, wala silang problema. Sige, nakaw lang kayo, nakaw, chill-chill lang kami dito, hindi kami gagalaw. Why? Because we are paying for it. So yun yung isa lang sinasabi natin na, wait lang, Congress, gumalaw kayo, what's happening with your oversight? Hey, regulators, what are you doing? ERC, DOE, what are you doing? NEA, what are you doing? So ngayon sinasabi nila, dito sa Mindanao, medyo nahihirapan tayo kasi pag yung mga nag-jumper ay ating tatanggalin yung jumper, baril, ita, sasabihin nila sa lineman, putulan mo ako ng ilaw, puputulan kita ng ulo. It happened, right? So ngayon, ang question, dahil ba ganun ang sitwasyon, papabayaan na lang natin? Now, what is the solution? Tinanong ko, what is the solution? Is there a solution? Tandaan po natin, lahat ng problema may solusyon. Patay lang po ang walang remedyo. And then I asked them, what's the solution? Sabi nila, well, we need the armed forces, we need police. So, what's the problem? The armed forces are there to serve and protect the people. So why not have an interagency task force? So sabi nila, oh yes, we'll do that. Really? You know the problem? You know the solution, but you don't act. What's wrong? Is there something wrong? Yes. It's a multi-million business. Yan po. So ito po yung mga ginagawa natin. And so that's what PARE does. These are some of the highlights in 2024 to 2025. We have been conducting we have been conducting seminars. This was in Batangas with David as well. We have focus group discussions. This was in Isabela. We are also educating students. We conducted a competition for Curlente. It's a photo essay contest telling the story about the current condition of the electric cooperatives in your province. You know? So these are only some. Okay, you can search my articles in Google. You can just search Nick Sator Jr. You could see some of the articles that I have been submitting to Inquirer, Business World, tackling different energy topics. Okay, so we've met DOE. Yeah, smile kami ni Sir Wimpy dyan. Friends kami ni Sir Wimpy. Di ba? Sabi ko, sir, solusyonan nyo naman. Oh, sabi niya, oo naman. Di ba? But then, you know, para lang artista. Oo, pero pagkatapos na nung summit, wala na. You know? So, that's the reason that we're here. You know? We, as consumer groups, we always wanted collaborative solutions. We cannot solve the problem all by ourselves. We have less funds, we have less resources, less manpower. You know, the government has everything. They have more money, they have more people, they have more knowledge base. You know, they have more experts. So we would like to have collaborative solutions. So this is what we are doing. And as of the end of the year, also along with David, GTP, and the other consumers, we Congress, yung pag-submit po natin sa Congress, these are students as well. Bunyog Party List Assembly. And this is one thing, pinagsama-sama po natin yung mga consumers, gumagawa po tayo ng Consumers Manifesto. Ano po yung gusto ng mga consumers doon sa area, sinasabit po natin to sa kanilang district congressman. And at the same time, we're also submitting this to our regulators and calling the attention of Congress, calling the attention of our regulators, and of course, it's the voice of the people. Okay? Hindi po ito accomplishment ng PARE, ito po ay accomplishment ng ating mga consumers in the area. You know, we are just helping them. We are just guiding them. You know, PARE is here to guide, you know, and we don't see this as our accomplishment, but we see this as a way for the consumers. And by having consumers win in this campaign, we're already happy about it. Next, please. Okay, so here, ito po yung mga, I also have a podcast interview. It's called Power Talks by Pare. Okay, yan, Power Talks by Pare. Ini-interview po natin, ito po yung mga nagtitinda sa ayan, si Sir Rich. Yan, I have him as my guest. You know, ito po yung mga nagtitinda po, mga sari-sari store owner. Ito sa Batangas po to. Minsan po, merong 8 to 14 hours ang brownout nila sa Batangas. You know, ito po, may sakit po sa bahay. So ngayon, imagine mo, may sakit yung tatay mo. Imagine this, your dad, your mom, may sakit. Wala kang electric fan, ang init, okay. Walang tubig. In other areas po, pag walang kuryente, wala rin pong tubig. You know? So imagine mo, paralisado, may pasyente ka, at the same time, wala ka rin tubig, wala ka rin kuryente, kawawa naman. So, ibig sabihin, nasubukan mo na mamasyal sa impyerno. Alright. Okay, so next, ito po mga iba't ibang mga organizations din. Events, forums, FGBs, and NGO collaborations. Next please. Yan po yung mga articles po. Okay, let us understand the energy sector.
But it's not tired. It's ready to go to work. Behind that power outlet, there's a lot going on to bring you the safe, reliable, affordable, and environmentally sustainable energy you depend on every day. Let's start at the beginning. Power generating facilities fueled by coal, nuclear energy, natural gas, and renewable resources such as the wind and sun create electricity we can use. When it leaves the generating facility, electricity first travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines. These lines are the backbone of the electric grid, capable of carrying large amounts of electricity across long distances. After completing the first leg of this journey, electricity arrives at a neighborhood substation. The substation's job is to lower the voltage so that the power can be brought in homes. The electricity is now ready for the final leg of its voyage. When it leaves the substation, power travels along the poles and wires you see every day around your community. This process is repeated in cities and towns across our service territory, and now the electricity has finally reached its destination, your home. To learn more about First Energy, visit firstenergycorp.com or follow us on social media.
Okay. I am not connected with First Energy. I just got it in their website and in YouTube. But basically, this is the three, right? We have the power generators, we have the transmission, and then we have the utility distributors. Okay, utility distributors are divided into two. We have private utility distributors, and we also have electric cooperatives. All right. So, yun lang po yung basic. Power generation, sila po yung gumagawa ng kuryente from coal, diesel, nuclear man yan, thermal, solar, wind. Okay? Then, ibabato nila kay NGCP. NGCP now is like the highway. Siya po yung kalsada. Diyan po dadaan ang kuryente. Papunta po sa ating utility distribution muna. Okay? Kung yan si Meralco, Benetco, Samselco, Batele, ayun. So, pupunta doon, pagkatapos pupunta doon, they have their facilities, siya naman yung magkocontrol ng voltage at yan yung ibabato niya sa bahay natin. Alright? So, ganun po yung basic ng ating energy sector. Ngayon, ang simple lang naman pala. Bakit nagiging parang masyadong komplikado? Kasi po, pag nagka-brownout, pwedeng kasalanan ng power generation, kasalanan ng NGCP, transmission, pwede rin kasalanan ng electric cooperative, pwede rin nasasabihin nila kasalanan ng consumers dahil dun sa bahay mo na isa. You know? So, it makes it complicated, but then, if you could say, it's really simple, ang kailangan lang natin is the political will, kagustuhan na isolve yung problema. In solving any problem, what's the number one step? In solving any problem, the number one step is? Identify the problem, know that there is a problem. Okay? Now, if you identify the problem, you know the problem, that's not enough. You need to accept na oo, problema nga. Kasi sa mga iba po, na-identify nila yung problem, sasabihin pa nila na, yan nga ba talagang problema? So we can't really solve the problem if we do not accept that there is a problem, right? The DOE has been saying it for over 15 years. Okay? Wala tayong problema sa supply ng kuryente. Tapos biglang pagka April, May, June, biglang may brownout. So sabi nila, manipis ang supply ng kuryente. Which is which? Wala tayong problema o may problema tayo? Exactly. They know that there is a problem, but they do not accept the problem. Alright? Now let us also understand paano nga ba yung electric bill.
Napapagod. O kaya nagagalit na kapag nakikita ang iyong mataas na singil sa kuryente. Naghihilala ka bang distribution utility o electric cooperative ay may nilabag tungkol dito? Kamusta? Ihahalog ng Energy and the PH ang isang video na iyong ihaluto. Sa video na ito, tatalakayin natin ang tungkol sa inyong mga bill sa kuryente, ang mga bahagi nito, kung ano ang nakaka-apekto dito, at kung ano ang maaari mong gawin kung sa tingin mo ay merong hindi tama. Kung nasa bahay ka, baka gusto mong hawakan ang iyong bill sa kuryente habang pinag-uusapan natin ito. Dahil sa batas na EPIRA, ang iyong kasalukuyang bill sa kuryente ay nabuo upang maipakita ang transparency ng mga rate na tingin sa kuryente. Ito ay hinati-hati upang bill sa kuryente ay magiging malinaw at magbibigay kaalaman at makita ng mga customer ang mga rate ng bawat serbisyo na kanilang binabayaran. Sa bawat bill ng kuryente, makikita mo ang mga sumusunod na pangunahing bayarin. Singil sa generation, transmission, distribution, universal charge, subsidies, buwis, at iba pa. Ang generation charge ay isang bahagi ng bill sa kuryente na sinisingil ng distribution utility, pambayad sa power na binili nila mula sa mga nakontratang supplier o mula sa merkado ng kuryente. Ang transmission charge ay tumutukoy sa gastos ng pagpapadala ng kuryente mula sa power plant hanggang sa distribution utility sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng mataas na voltahe ng mga linya. Ang distribution charge ay ang bahagi ng bill na napupunta sa mga distribution utility. Ito ay nakahalima sa distribution charge na sumasaklaw sa gastos ng pagpapatakbo at pagpapanatili ng distribution system. Ang supply charge ay sumasaklaw sa gastos ng serbisyo sa mga customers, pagsingil, koleksyon, power sourcing, at iba pang mga kaugnay na serbisyo. At meron ang charge na sumasaklaw sa gastos ng pagbabasa, pagpapatakbo at pagpapanatili ng mga pasilidad na pang-metro. Susunod, mayroon tayong universal charge. Ito ang singil para sa pagbabayad ng mga naiwan na utang ng NAMOR, pagbibigay access sa kuryente, pagpapantay ng mga buwis at royalties, at environmental charge. Ito ay kinukolekta mula sa lahat ng customers buwan-buwan ng mga distribution utility. Para sa mga subsidies, mayroon tayong senior citizens rate na sumasaklaw sa pagbabayad para sa pagsuporta sa mga senior citizen, at ang lifeline rate na sumasaklaw sa pagbabayad para sa pagsuporta sa mga mahihirap nating mga kababayan. Para sa mga buwis, mayroon tayong expanded value-added taxes ng national government at mga lupan na buwis na ipinapato ng LGU. At ang huli, mayroon tayong iba pang singil sa kuryente. Mayroon tayong singil sa system loss na tumutukoy sa pagbawi ng gastos para sa mga nawala kuryente dahil sa teknikal at hindi teknikal na problema. At ang mga singil para sa pedor na ginagamit ng gobyerno upang mabayaran ang supply ng ilang mga renewable energy power plants sa ilalim ng Feed-in Tariff Program. Lahat ng yan ang bumubuo ng bill mo sa kuryente. Ngayon, tatalakayin natin ang pangunahing mga bagay na nakakaapekto dito. Mayroong dalawang pangunahing bagay na nakakaapekto sa mga biglaang pagbabago sa iyong mga bayarin sa kuryente. Ito ay kung paano ang konsumo ng kuryente at ang rate ng iyong distribution utility. Ang iyong konsumo ay nakabase sa kung paano ka gumagamit ng mga aparato at kagamitan na ang kailangan ng kuryente. Ang isang halimbawa ng biglaang pagbabago na ito ay ang paglipat ng karamihan sa mga tao sa work-from-home setup. Karamihan sa mga tao ay mas gumagamit ngayon ng kanilang mga TV, laptop at aircon kumpara sa dati nilang konsumo na madalas ay tuwing gabi lang. Ang pagkonsumo mo dati ay katulad nito kung saan mataas ang pagkonsumo lamang sa gabi. Ngayon na sa bahay ka lamang nagtatrabaho, ang iyong pagkonsumo ay maaaring magkaroon ganito. Kapag naman gumagamit ka ng mas kaunting mga kuryenteng aparato at kagamitan, maaari ka magkaroon ng mas mababang bill ng kuryente kung ihahambing sa dati mong bill. Ang isa pang bagay na nakakaapekto sa iyong bill ay ang iyong rate sa kuryente na dumadaan sa regulasyon ng ERC. Sa buong Pilipinas at depende sa iyong pagmumuli, kung residential, commercial o pang-industriya, kada distribution utility ay may iba-ibang rate sa kuryente. Para sa residential, ang ilan ay may effective rate ng kuryente na 6 piso per kilowatt-hour, habang ang ilan ay maaaring kumabot sa 15 piso per kilowatt-hour. Ang malaking bahagi ng iyong rate sa kuryente ay para sa singil ng generation charge. Ang generation charge ay nag-iiba buwan-buwan at direktang nakakaapekto sa kabuuang rate ng iyong kuryente. Ito ay resulta ng diskarte sa pagkuha ng supply ng mga distribution utility, kung saan pwedeng manggaling ito mula sa supply na resulta ng kanilang kasunduan sa isa generation company, o kaya pwede rin silang bumili ng supply sa merkado ng kuryente. Alinman sa dalawang iyan ang piliin ng utility. Sumasailalim pa dito sa regulasyon ng ERC. Ngayon, ipapaliwanag natin ang isa sa mga kakaibang mga pangyayari sa singil sa kuryente. Sa kasalukuyang pandemya, hindi makapagbasa ng mga metro ng mga distribution utility. Bilang resulta, napilitan silang mag-estimate ng bill. Kaya na, tama ba ito? O kaya naman nabagpa sila sa batas? Batay sa mga inisyo na resolusyon ng ERC, pinapayagan ng mga distribution utility na mag-estimate ng bill kapag may force majeure o anumang kaganapan na lampas sa kontrol ng utility. Narito ang ilang mahalagang tala tungkol sa mga estimated na bill. Mayroong iba't ibang mga pamamaraan na pag-akula ng estimate. Isa sa mga iyon ay sa pamamagitan ng pag-average ng iyong bill sa mga nakaraang 3 buwan. dapat isulat ng distribution utility ang salitang estimate sa bawat bayarin na batay sa tinansyang konsumo, at hindi dapat mag-issue ng higit sa 2 magkakasunod na bill sa isang customer batay sa tinansyang konsumo. Dapat ayusin ng video ang tinansyang konsumo kapag nakapagbasa na ng metro. Ang pagsasaayos ng bill kasunod ng tinansyang konsumo ay dapat na nakakalat ng pantay-pantay sa bilang ng mga buwan na ito ay tinansya. Dapat ito ay palaging singil sa interes. Mangyaring tandaan na ang mga patakaran ito ay maaaring sumailalim sa karagdagang mga pagbabago o pagsuspinde base sa ERC. Maaari kang sumangguni sa advisories na inilabas sa website ng ERC para sa pag-update ng mga patakaran ito. Sa mga pagkakataon na naniniwala pero may mali sa iyong bill, maaari kang makipag-ugnayan sa iyong distribution utility. Kung ang isang customer ay nagre-reklamo ng tungkol sa bill, singil o serbisyo, ang distribution utility ay dapat mag-record at agad na mag-imbestiga sa bagay na ito at magbigay na ng report sa customer. Ang pag-report sa nagreklamo ng customer ay dapat gawin sa loob ng 15 araw mula sa agad ng naturang reklamo. Dapat inipaalam ng distribution utility sa customer ang kanilang karapatan na mag-file ng isang reklamo sa ERC. Kung nagreklamo ka ng iyong bayarin sa distribution utility at hindi sila tumugon o nakipag-ugnayan sa iyo tungkol sa issue, maaari kang direktang paghain ng reklamo sa ERC na naaayon sa iyong mga karapatan. Upang malaman ang iba mo pang mga karapatan, maaari kang sumangguni sa Magna Carta for Residential Electricity Consumer at sa ERC Resolution No. 2, Series of 2010 para sa Distribution System and Open Access Rules. So ito ang iyong bill ng kuryente. Ngunit nais mo bang malaman kung paano mo ito tunay na mapapababa? Sumubaybay sa susunod na mga video ng Energy in the PH. Salamat sa Panginoon.
Okay.
One of the most talked about.
Alright. So, yun po yung bill ng kuryente. Ang hindi po naidagdag dyan ni EIT was yung power generation is being taxed. NGCP is being taxed. Electric co-ops and private BUs are being taxed. But these are not being paid by the companies. These are passed on to consumers. So, yung makikita nyo, yung bill po natin, systems loss, yung explain ko kanina, is one big part of price increase. Another is yung pong repairs, no? Taxes, yan yung nagpapamahal. We also have the senior citizen discounts. Wow! May discount ang senior citizen. Hindi po tayo rin nagbabayad doon. You know, it's the consumers who are paying the discounts for consumers. Now, the universal charges, like for example, in Bantayan Islands, hindi po nila kayang bayaran yung kanilang kuryente. Tayo po magbabayad doon. Hati-hati ang lahat ng mamayan ng Pilipino para dun sa mga areas na hindi po nila kayang bayaran ng kanilang kuryente. Ngayon, wala nang po akong problema na tulungan yung ating mga kababayan na walang pambayad ng kuryente. Pero ang tanong ko doon is yung electric cooperative, ginagawa ba yung tama para naman at least kahit paano, least cost yung binabayaran natin. So, napaka-importante po yung ginagawa natin kasi lahat po tayo dito ay electric consumers. Ayan. Ngayon po, intindihin po natin yung ating renewable energy in the Philippine setting. Now, there are a lot of changes and a lot of developments in the energy sector when it comes to renewable energy. And hindi na po kulang ang ating renewable energy. Ngayon, yung sinasabi na ni David, na bakit kasi hindi na natin i-push to yung renewable energy? You know? Ang problem natin, yun nga, renewable energy, yan yung power generation. But we do have the NGCP who has very small lines. Maliit yung highway, hindi nakakadaan yung ibang renewable energy. May mga ibang planta na walang linya si NGCP, so hindi nakakabato yung renewable energy. So you see, the problem really is on the whole energy sector. CERC, CDOE, anong ginagawa? You know? So this will be my last video. Let us see the renewable energy videos. Yeah.
One of the most talked about solutions of global warming, renewable energy, have been continuously blooming in every country. from large power plant installations to small-scale systems in households. So what is RE, and how does it plan to help the Philippines transition the power industry to a greener and more sustainable future? Hello, this is Jay, and welcome in another explainer video of Energy Intel PH. In today's video, we will be discussing about an overview of the Philippine renewable energy industry. Renewable energy is energy from sources that are continually replenished by nature, the sun, the wind, water, the earth's heat, plants, and even animals. Renewable energy technologies turn these resources into usable forms of energy, most often electricity, but also heat, chemicals, or mechanical power. Renewable energy sources is commonly categorized as a cleaner, non-polluting, and more sustainable source of energy. There are different types of renewable energy sources. We have biomass, geothermal, solar, hydro, ocean, and wind. The Department of Energy has dubbed these different sources as Big Show. Biomass energy systems refer to energy systems which uses biomass resources like sugarcane, coconut husks and shells, rice hull, animal and other waste to produce heat, steam, mechanical power or electricity through either thermochemical, biochemical or physicochemical processes, or through such other technologies. Geothermal energy systems refer to systems that converts geothermal energy, which is the energy that can be extracted from the heat in the earth, into useful power. In this system, cool water is injected to the ground, then hot water is pumped up and heat is used to produce steam, which is used to turn turbines of generators, thus producing electricity. Solar energy systems refer to systems which convert solar energy into thermal or electrical energy. This can be classified as ground-mounted solar, rooftop solar, or floating solar, among others. Hydroelectric power systems refer to water-based energy systems which produce electricity by utilizing the kinetic energy of falling or running water to turn a turbine generator. Ocean energy systems refer to energy systems which convert ocean or tidal current, ocean thermal gradient, or wave energy into electrical or mechanical energy. Wind energy systems refer to the machines or other related equipment that convert wind energy into useful electrical or mechanical energy. Let's now talk about the development of renewable energy in the Philippines. Renewable energy has long been part of the energy industry, but its development bolstered during the enactment of the Renewable Energy Act of 2008. With the RE law, the following policies of the state was put in place, among others. First is to accelerate the exploration and development of renewable energy resources in order to achieve energy self-reliance, so that we can reduce the country's dependence on fossil fuels and minimize the country's exposure to price fluctuations. Second is to effectively prevent or reduce harmful emissions and thereby balance the goals of economic growth and development with the protection of health and the environment. And lastly, to increase the utilization of RE by providing fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. Now let's talk about some of the incentives under the RE law. For the fiscal incentives, we have tax-related incentives, exemption from universal charge on some systems, and cash incentives, among others. For non-fiscal incentives, we have the feed-in tariff, which sets a fixed price for the sale or purchase of 1 unit of renewable electricity. The costs of this feed-in tariff scheme were covered by end users through a surcharge on retail power prices. Next, we have the net metering program that allows end users with an on-site RE facility not larger than 100 kilowatts to feed excess power back to the grid and be credited. These credits can then be used by the customer to offset power they purchase from their utility at a future time when they consume more than they can generate. Then, we have the Renewable Portfolio Standards, which requires certain energy participants like distribution utilities, retail electricity suppliers, and even some generating companies to source an agreed portion of their energy supply from eligible renewable energy facilities. This market-based policy aims to help increase RE utilization of about 35% in the generation mix by 2030. And lastly, we have the Green Energy Option Program, which shall allow end users of a certain demand to secure contract and source their supply directly with a renewable energy supplier. Now, for the current status of the RE industry. In 2019, RE represents about 21% of the Philippine generation mix, with an installed capacity of 7.4 gigawatts and 22 terawatt-hours energy generation. Further, during previous forums and public consultations held, NREB and the DOE have stated that they are already shifting from a grid-centered approach to a consumer-centered use of the RE systems. They plan to increase the participation of the consumers in the RE industry by increasing awareness for RE programs, facilitating access to RE supply, and engaging the regulator in developing consumer enabler and market unlocking programs, among others. With the continuous implementation of the RE law and its programs, we hope to further increase the share of renewable energy in the Philippines and achieve the target of 35% in the generation mix by 2030 or even earlier. Thank you for watching. See you on my next video. Visit my page at Energy Intel PH.
Okay. We already have existing RE law. Now we also have existing RE power plants. But the problem is there are some electric cooperatives who are not contracting RE. We really don't know the reason why, but under the law, they need to contract 20% RE.